Brian. And I'm Nathan. This is the At Odd Show. Please listen.
Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now. Did she get a look at you? I think she did.
No, it was you.
I think that's why she went screwing out of here.
Yeah.
No, she was looking at me. She liked me.
I bet.
Because I'm a player.
I bet. You just have a history of people being jealous of how good you look, and
it's true,
getting you in trouble and stuff. So
it's true. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, you wouldn't deny something like that because it's a lie.
No. We want to welcome you to another episode of At Odds. Today's Thursday, August 1st. I'm Brian.
And I'm Nate.
Wow. We are broadcasting live from the back room of the Live Free or Die bar and studio in a large city in what country, Nate?
The United States of America.
Of course it is.
Again. Actually in New Hampshire.
Well, they revoked our passports, so
they did.
We really can't leave the country.
We will be in the U.S. for a while.
We're lucky we can leave the state.
We'll see. Yeah, and that's iffy. That one's iffy, but we did it anyway, just to bring you a good show from New Hampshire, where we will either live free or
die
or not.
Listen, I will live free or Nate will die. I'll make that pledge to you.
It's not good odds.
It is for me.
It's not really great odds, but we are also, and I don't know if you were going to mention this or not, but in New Hampshire we don't have our normal crew with us because our normal studio is actually being moved and remodeled. We got
a little bit of money. That's not true. We got kicked out of our last place.
Yeah, I was going to say the opposite. It turns out. When you write on the walls with magic marker, they don't like it.
Apparently they don't like that kind of stuff.
And you drew on their mouse pad one time, too.
I did not.
No, it was my mouse pad, and I'm still angry about it. I found it while I was moving the other studio.
So we're temporarily in another studio, but we will be back to our new studio, wherever it is, around this world, except anywhere outside the United States, because we don't have passports now.
Yep. As long as the crew at that anti-gun cable conglomerate gets on the ball and actually does what they claim to do with customer service.
We need some internet access there. That's
basically
the issue.
That's the real problem, and they're a pain in the ass to work with.
I think we should just at least remind people. We'll remind them later too about we're going to give them till midnight to like our Facebook page, just real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Head over to facebook.com/atoddshow.
But at 12:01, we will be choosing a winner of a new book, or not a new book, a copy of our book.
Yeah.
It's fairly new.
Slightly used.
Yeah. My parents open carry, but we'll get into that later in the show. I just want to remind you, though, you can go right now and like us.
Facebook.com/atoddshow.
And if you like us now, you get 2 chances to win. We put your name in twice.
If you have a time machine and you like us 3 weeks ago,
you only get your name in
once. You get one
once.
chance. So I would suggest liking us now.
Again and again and again.
Yep, or yesterday.
And have all your kids, your family, your uncle, your priest, your lawyer, your doctors, all your people on your Facebook thing to like us as well, because that increases your odds. And then they'll just tell them you give you the book. No one else is going to want to read it. I mean, if you want it, I mean, that's what's going to happen.
You can check out the book at myparentsopencarry.com since we're on the subject. You can buy it there if you're not the lucky one to win.
Yeah, you can buy it there. That's right. Nobody's going to buy it there. Yeah. You can call us, too. We're a live talking show, although our internet connection where we're at in this bunker is not very good, so it may drop you, so beware.
248-455-ODDS, 248-455-6337.
Remember, this is a journey through the political jungle, so having said that, we're going to bounce all over the place on our topics. We're going to go talk about this and that and the other thing.
We're on a tour without a guide. Well, we are your guides.
Not very good ones.
But take that, as you will. We are the guides.
Where
so
are
good
we,
luck.
Nate? I don't know. Somewhere in a jungle.
Just keep going forward.
I'm scared. I'm really scared. If you're in Minnesota and gay, happy days. Starting today, I think you can vote. Or I vote. You can vote. Yeah, they gave gays the vote. When did that happen? Minnesota. You can vote. No, what I meant to say is you can get married. I think they've been able to vote for at least several months now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, since 2009. Wow.
I would say it's Freudian, but I don't even think he could have handled that
No.
and figured out where the hell that came from.
Wow. Yeah, no, so Minnesota and Rhode Island, effective today, gay marriage is now legal.
Wait a minute, you're saying that Minnesota and Rhode Island are going to get married because they're gay?
Minnesota, no, I would never say that about those two states. Although everything seems to be void in one of them. Right?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you can't do it. If you're from Rhode Island, you probably cannot win a copy of our book. But go ahead and like the Facebook page anyway.
Yeah. This contest is void in Rhode Island. All right, so you had a nice song, This Land Is My Land, This Land Is Your Land.
Yeah.
Did you have that?
Keith Ellison, he's a U.S. representative from Minnesota, a Muslim, which
he is not.
He claims to be a Muslim.
Really, a Muslim?
Yeah, which is interesting because generally Islam is not very friendly to gays.
No, they usually behead them.
But he's a Democrat, so he has to pander to everybody. Gays and straights and Muslims and Christians.
Sure.
So,
oh my. Yeah.
This was his celebration yesterday. Looking forward to today when he could marry his gay lover, or maybe not.
Wait a minute. In your opinion, he's gay. Say that in your opinion, because that's not libel.
No, it's not my opinion.
Okay, it's his lover. No,
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. To the Red Wing Forest, to the Gulf Stream water. This land is made for you and me. Hey y'all, tomorrow, marry who you want, marry who you love. It's all going off tomorrow because people got involved, because people got active, because people did not sit back and wait for something to happen, nor did they cry about bad things that were happening. They got involved, they got engaged, they made a compelling case to the Minnesota people, and the Minnesota people said, do your thing, and so you go do it, you go be happy, you go marry who you love, you go live your life for liberty and justice for all, because guess what? This land is your land, and this land is my land. From California to Minnesota to the Mississippi to Bemidji and the big Paul Bunyan statue, Minnesota is for you and for me. Everybody, equality, peace.
Do you remember
Bemidji, Minnesota?
This was before we were on Red State Talk Radio, so those listeners won't get this. But do you remember when we did our show in Bemidji?
Yes.
It's a nice town.
It is.
It's a nice town.
There's a great big statue of Paul Bunyan there.
It's life size.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it's like 65 feet tall.
Yeah, I mean that was the actual size. No,
it's to scale.
Keith Ellison went a little crazy here. He might have been drunk. I'm not sure. And this was a really
that's
awkward,
your opinion again. Doesn't necessarily.
This was a really
reflect
awkward video to watch. I suggest you
opinions
go look it up and watch it. And he was bouncing
of me or
around
anyone else.
Decent guitar player is singing better than mine. Not bad for a Democrat.
I concur. That was one of the first songs I ever learned to play in a guitar. Was "This Land Is Your Land, This Land Is My Land."
I just happen to have a guitar, Brian.
Really slam. Oop. That was 40 years ago.
I wish I did. That would have been good. That would have been a good treat for the listeners.
I'd have played C, E, and C minor, and then there's
Would you have?
No,
Is that what
maybe.
you-
Maybe. I
what you
don't know.
would
It's
have
been a long
done?
time. I mostly listen to guitars now.
So I heard we're boycotting the Olympics.
Well, speaking of
Because of
gays in
Snowden,
Minnesota,
right?
yay! But if you're gay in Russia, not Soviet Russia yet, again, but in Russia, we will arrest gay athletes and we will arrest gay spectators. Maybe so. It's against the law. Putin just had that law signed. He pushed it through, if you know what I mean. Pushed it through. And so, if you're gay... Oh, and by the way, they also said that our gay figure skater... I mean, our figure skaters are not gay. They are raised with wholesome family values, so you gay figure skaters out there, beware.
Russia's figure skaters?
That's what they said. They actually said, I've met many of our figure skaters, which I don't know why he brought that up, being gay or not.
Yeah, I mean, profile much? Come on. The people that wear shiny,
Sequins
flowing,
and rhinestones.
yeah, and they skate around on the ice and twirl.
And they got a great butt because of those butt muscles for skating. And they have such...
Oh, boy.
Perhaps I've said too much.
Oh, boy. I suggest
I'm talking about pair skaters now. There's women there.
I suggest you
well,
don't go
it's
to Russia.
It's Russia, so it's hard to say.
And there goes the Russian demographic.
We never really had.
I actually saw the stats today, and we have listeners from Russia, so...
Not anymore.
No, not anymore.
The point is they have a law, no gays allowed in Russia, and now they're saying, we may arrest you, we may not. And the Olympic Committee, of course, is up in arms going, come on, are you really going to arrest our athletes? Because, half of them are gay. They didn't say that, but they said some of them are, and they are.
I thought we were boycotting anyway because of Edward Snowden and how they didn't extradite him to the U.S.
Thanks. I was gonna Snowden into that and segue. I was snowed in Russia. Snowed in Siberia. Maybe that. See that? We got a Russian audience back.
Great news for Edward Snowden. He
Out of the
finally
airport.
was able to leave the airport.
He could take a shower.
Yep,
and he
can
could have
change
some
his
borscht.
clothes maybe if he
He
has
has some borscht and some vodka.
if he has some Russian money.
He have some guamkis and some pierogies
So yeah,
and some kolash.
temporary asylum was.
What asylum?
I was gonna say this show's going downhill, but we never got up the hill.
No, we never got on any hill at all.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Snowden. What?
No, Snowden. He was granted temporary asylum in Russia. He was, like you said, he was allowed to leave the transit zone in the airport and actually walk into Russian territory.
And what did Obama say?
Obama isn't happy about this, and he said it. His press secretary basically. I don't know what you're pointing at.
He's not a whistleblower.
Yeah, he's not a whistleblower. In fact, he's a felon. He's been charged with several felonies, but
He's not a felon until he's
don't worry.
convicted.
Yeah,
He's charged with felonies.
That's the thing. That's exactly what.
This
Jay-
is still
Jay
America,
Carney said.
sort of.
He needs to be here because he's been accused of a crime. Well, you know what? No, I don't think accused doesn't mean guilty.
Come back to America where you're free until we put you behind bars for being a
They
spy.
promised they wouldn't push for the death penalty.
That's nice.
I don't believe it.
No, I don't
But
either.
they promised that. They told Russia, "Don't worry, we won't kill him."
Snowden might be
come
feeling a little
on.
better with that Army corporal that didn't get aiding the enemy or whatever.
Bradley
Charged-
Manning.
yeah.
I mean, he's going to be in jail for long
Life.
enough anyway.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, and that's different in my mind, completely different. But the other odd thing, Obama has a trip scheduled to meet with Putin in Russia
Ooh.
coming up.
Are they going to meet in Putin Bay?
They might meet in Putin Bay. I don't know.
If you're from Ohio, Michigan, that's an inside joke.
I don't know if they will, but what they wow.
There is actually a Putin Bay. Anyways,
Okay.
I had to explain it.
Now, Congress is calling on Obama to not go on that trip and kind of boycott Russia. and
Oh,
not even
that'll
talk to
show 'em.
Because they have one American that may have released some information that the government didn't want him to release. And, that's not a good thing for the country, even though it is.
Much
Well,
ado-
just think about who was talking about the NSA before Snowden came out with this stuff. Who really was talking about these surveillance programs before Snowden came out with this stuff? Who in Congress was working on bills to fix some of this and try to defund it
Nobody.
before Snowden came out with this information?
Nobody.
Nobody. So don't tell me he didn't do good. Now, he didn't do good for the regime that's in power that wants surveillance and claims that it's, it's anti-terrorism tactics and it's keeping you safe. They don't want this information out. But when you think about the Constitution, you think about the founders, you think about what America is supposed to be.
The principle of freedom and liberty. When you think about those things, NSA is bad.
It is very bad. Very, very bad. And they're getting bigger. We find out that they actually are tracking everything you do on the internet. No, they're probably not looking at it. They're probably not going to look at it, but they're going to track it all. They're storing everything you do. But if you're not a terrorist, I mean, why would you even worry about it?
I mean, like pressure cookers, backpacks, and what's the name of that dish?
Quinoa, however you want to say it. I've heard it both ways. I say quinoa. Yeah, it's rice, essentially. I mean, it's a grain. It's not rice, but yeah, yes, exactly like whatever you said. Pressure cookers, backpacks, and quinoa, which probably is going to get the federal government to show up here in this studio in New Jersey, New Hampshire.
No, New Jersey.
New Jersey. If they can find us.
We're in New Jersey.
Yes, we are. That's not too far from New Hampshire.
No, it's not. Yeah, these people wanted to buy a pressure cooker to cook rice, and I guess the husband was looking at backpacks, and their son was looking at how to make bombs.
Well, they claim that he's a very news-hungry individual. He's in his 20s.
And at that point, after the Boston bombing, I'm sure everybody was online looking at pressure cooker bombs.
Everybody was, because every news outlet had the Islam handbook that shows you how to make pressure cooker bombs.
And so, by gum, the several agents showed up at their house. And unfortunately, the guy was a nice guy, and he let them into the house and, let them search the house. And I don't know why they would do that. Let anybody in.
Well, they showed up like 3 black SUVs, spread out
6 to 8 agents
spread out across his yard, surrounded the house. Said, "Hey, we just want to ask you some questions."
Yeah. Right.
Mistake number 1, they said, "Are you Mr. Whatever?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yes."
Yeah, I'd say, "Who's asking?"
Well, the correct answer is to not answer the door when you see a swarm of men walking at you in plain clothes, even.
You in what army? The American Army. Ooh, that's a pretty good army.
Good army.
Anyways,
let them in the house. Let them do a cursory search of the house, and answered a bunch of questions. Now, what's really stupid about this, and we hear this a lot, they went in to do a search of the house. There was a room that was closed that they wanted to go in. He said, "Oh, my son's sleeping in there." And they said, "Oh, okay.
No problem. We won't look in that room."
Really? So when they show up and I have my pressure cookers stored in a bedroom.
They're going to be in the room that your son's sleeping in?
Yes, they will. They sure will.
Really? Now you really do want the feds to come to our studio.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Scranton. That's in Pennsylvania.
Is it?
I think so.
We could call Chris Christie and see what he thinks about our show. He's in New Jersey.
The thing is,
asshole.
Oh boy, I had something. What was it? Oh, so the guy, the homeowner, he asked the agent. He goes, "What do you mean you're asking me about looking up how to make bomb pressure cookers?" He says, "That was hot news." He says, "How many of you looked that up?" And 2 of the agents says, "Well, I did. I did. Yeah, I did." It's still frightening, the fact that they knew all this about him, and the fact that they knew that the husband had traveled to China and what was the other place?
South Korea.
I
mean, I don't know why they knew that. Maybe he works for the FBI. I don't know.
Well, they knew who he was, so they just did a background check.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
sure,
they know everything. Sure. It's a frightening world, people. You can't. I don't know.
What she said, and this was a freelance writer, of course, that brought this up, but what she said was...
And my family wonders why I drink.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
If when she goes to buy a pressure cooker in the future, she's not going to do it online. I was wondering...
You being the capitalist... jumped on
does this NSA crap and this we're watching everything you do on the internet, is that going to have an impact on not only just internet usage, but
Damn right it will.
online retail.
Yeah, you're damn right it will.
I mean, you're going to put all your information out there and let the government that nobody trusts.
Well, the sheep will continue to do it, but there'll be a segment of society that will say, you know what, I'm not going to.
It's not worth it. I'll just
go
to the
online
store
and do this.
They'll track whatever they're tracking.
Right,
there
they'll
anyway.
just do it with my credit card and cash. You want to play cash. Walmart's, I'm sure, locked right into all
and
that.
Also,
too, so.
also be invisible if you can, because they have cameras.
That's always good. All right, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Do we need to take a break, or can you want to keep going? What do you want to do, Nate?
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with a whole bunch of stuff. But
baby deer?
We'll come back and talk about that baby deer. That one didn't make me happy, Brian.
Oh, I know you were sad.
That one did not make me happy.
Yeah.
Not so much sad for the deer, but
for society.
We'll talk about it
in our country.
Don't forget, like the Facebook page. Contest going on through midnight tonight. Like
there
the
is.
Page. Yeah, like the page for a chance to win a copy of My Parents' Open Carry. And
that's a good book.
Facebook.com/@oddshow. We will be right back.
I like mashed potatoes and fried chickens. And yeah, Odd Show with Nate and Brian.
Red State Talk Radio.
The idea of government taking over healthcare is enough to make you sick.
The conservative voice.
I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. That's 1-800-257-2873.
When it comes to TV, if you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best value in entertainment. Not only will you find the same channels you know and love for less, Dish sweetens the deal with free HD for life and premium movie channels free for 3 months, including Blockbuster at home. You can also save a bundle when you combine DishNet high-speed internet with your TV service. Why would you ever pay more for TV? Switch to Dish and see what real value is. Free HD for life, premium channels free for 3 months, scores of movies with Blockbuster at home, premium savings when you bundle DishNet high-speed internet service. Limited time offer, 24-month agreement with credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. Call for details.
Call Dish Satellite, your Dish authorized retailer now. 800-507-9468. 800-507-9468. 800-507-9468. That's 800-507-9468.
Red State Talk Radio.
Why spend more than you have to on your life insurance? Did you know that term life insurance rates have fallen over 60% in the last 15 years? At the Life Insurance Quote Line, we monitor the rates, features, and financial strength of hundreds of life insurance products. For example, a healthy 40-year-old can protect his family with $500,000 of 10-year level term for less than $20 a month. Rates for women are even lower. And don't forget to ask us about the new term life policies that guarantee your money back even if you don't die. Since 1986, we've helped tens of thousands of people just like you save a fortune on their life insurance. Why not find out how much you can save? Write down this number and call today for your free quote. 1 5-minute call is all it takes. Call 800-610-3497. 800-610-3497. That's 800-610-3497. Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state.
And we're back. You're listening to At Odds. I'm Brian.
I'm Nate.
Do you like deer, don't you, Nate? It's delicious.
Yeah, it's really delicious.
Whether it's hamburger, steaks, or jerky.
Veal.
Venison is
Veal,
delicious.
veal type venison.
Those are the little ones. I think that's what happened to this one.
I doubt it, and that's one of my problems with this. Is I bet that didn't happen. Yeah. I bet it's in a freezer right now, or burned, or just thrown in the back.
It's thrown into a landfill or out in the bush for the raccoons to eat. Armed agents raid animal shelter for baby deer.
No, go ahead. I'm just sitting over here.
You're just mad.
Yeah, this one's not.
This is in
not a fun story.
This is in Wisconsin, and there was a what was it? A rehabilitation place or something, or maybe it was just a.
This was just a shelter. They mostly have dogs and cats, like your normal animal shelter.
Right. They take animals in. Anyways, I'm assuming they were out in the country and they came across, a baby deer, and it seemed to be in some distress. So they picked it up, which they probably shouldn't have. Well, they shouldn't have, because it's against the law to possess animals like that. Many states are like that, including Michigan. This is Wisconsin.
Doesn't make it right, but was it Wisconsin or was it Illinois?
No, it's Wisconsin.
Right, because this is on the border, the Wisconsin.
Oh, I'm sorry,
border.
It was Illinois family.
So this story is confusing a bit because it switches back and forth. It was an Illinois family. They took it to a shelter on the Wisconsin side of the border.
Yeah, but
it was planning on transferring it to a wildlife reserve in Illinois.
But they were in Wisconsin because it's the Wisconsin DNR that did this.
Yes, it is. The shelter's in Wisconsin.
Right. And okay, I see that now. Illinois family brought the deer to these people.
Yeah,
so they're taking care of it. Somehow word gets out that this family's got this deer. DNR not able to miss, a big bus because they don't get to play very, very often, and they
hold on.
staked out this guy's place.
Back up a second, because you jumped over a bit that I think is kind of important too. The DNR got wind that the shelter had the deer because they claimed they had multiple phone calls from concerned citizens that reported the deer.
I don't believe that.
If that's true, who the hell are you? Call my show right now. Why the hell would you call the DNR on a shelter that has animals, that has a baby deer? I mean, come on.
I don't believe that.
Come on, you don't have something better in your life that you can go nitpick and complain? I mean, go sit down your front porch with a shotgun and yell at the neighborhood kids. I don't care, but
stay up alone.
Yeah, right. You're familiar with that.
I do that all the time.
I know you do.
Okay, so you feel better now. All right, so
no,
the issue. There's a couple issues. Mostly, it's the increasing police state and police power. When I was a kid, this would have been handled with the good old county DNR officer ambling up to the people's house and saying, "Hey, Bill," because they had known.
No, it wasn't at a house.
Whatever. It was a barn or something.
It was at a shelter. This is an actual organization.
I don't know about that.
It's
okay.
It was at an animal shelter.
Okay, so it doesn't matter. They still would have known who it was, because the DNR probably would have worked with them at some point in the old days.
You'd think.
And said, "Hey, Bill, I got a report you got a deer. You're not supposed to have that. We're going to have to take it away." And okay, that's fine. Okay, thanks a lot. And how's the hunting and fishing? Oh, it's good, and they would have been on the way. But now they have 9 DNR officers in SWAT gear and 4 county sheriff's deputies serving a search warrant, drug style, busting. They didn't bust, but they,
armed to the teeth, as the one employee said.
Took all of the employees, rounded them up by the picnic table outside, and held them there while they searched around looking for this deer. And they found the baby deer.
Well, it wasn't hidden.
No, it wasn't like it was marijuana, or heroin, or sex slaves. It was a little baby deer they'd been taking care of. We have some audio of the senior DNR supervisor trying to explain what happened.
Well, and this is an interview that she did with local news.
The local news.
They asked her a couple questions. Basically they said, "Well, why did you kill the deer?" And
Well,
you
you gave it away. I was saving that. No, they just said Yeah, go ahead. Let's just play it. It's pretty self-explanatory.
The Department of Natural Resources spoke to 12 News about the fawn by phone. Supervisor Jennifer Niemeyer says the law requires DNR agents to euthanize animals like Giggles because of the potential for disease and danger to humans.
These are always very difficult situations for both parties involved, and we are empathetic to the fact of what happened because we know in their heart of hearts they tried to do the right thing.
Could you have made a phone call before showing up? I mean, that's a lot of resources.
If the sheriff's department is going in to do a search warrant on a drug bust, they don't call them and ask them to voluntarily surrender their marijuana or whatever drugs that they have before they show up.
Niemeyer denies agents killed Giggles at the shelter. She says they tranquilized her, then euthanized her off-site.
Yeah, okay. Listen, Jennifer Niemeyer, DNR supervisor, warden supervisor in Wisconsin. You are the DNR warden supervisor. You have nothing to do with drug busts. This was a baby deer at a shelter that you could have called ahead, walked up there and said, hey, we need the deer. But instead, you think that you have enough power, and apparently you do because you did this and local news is talking about it, to send a SWAT team in
9
to get
officers
a deer.
plus 4 county sheriff deputies.
I mean, get over yourself. You are a DNR warden.
And the audacity to compare having a baby deer with a drug bust.
Yeah, that's
what I find
You're
despicable.
going into a place that is sheltering animals to take care of them, to save them, from whatever harm they would have otherwise. A lot of these abandoned, a lot of them abused, this deer found. You're not going into a very hostile environment. This was not PETA. I'm serious about that.
I know, it's fine.
PETA just murders the animals that they get. Yeah. So, I mean, we can talk about that if you want. But really, get over yourself.
It was the crime of the century.
Well, how many times does she get to send a SWAT raid in? This was probably once in a career for her.
They did some preliminary work, and they had aerial photos, and they had surveillance, and an officer actually saw the deer get walked in and out of the building. So we have good evidence to present to the judge that we need a search warrant. Couldn't they just go knock on the door and say, we heard you have a deer, you can't have the deer, let's turn it over.
You would start there, don't
you
think?
Then they kill it on site. I don't believe they tranquilized it.
Well, look, they carried it out in a body bag, as the one employee said.
So it's tranquilized in a body bag.
So... It was their tight bag, but I mean, really, you knock on the door. You don't even have to. I'm sure it's open to the public. Say, we need the deer. If they say no and give you trouble, then you can escalate from there. People of Wisconsin, think of the tax money that was wasted on this raid to get a baby deer, which, by the way, according to the shelter, was scheduled to be transferred to a wildlife reserve where it belongs
in Illinois
the next day.
Yep. Where it was legal to take care of a baby
How
deer.
The hell? Well, an individual with a permit in Illinois can.
Right.
The wildlife, the reserve is permitted, I assume. But how important was it to get the deer now that you had to waste all of this tax money, put all these people at risk?
Get a warrant.
Because don't tell me that it's not more dangerous to have 9 SWAT members rushing in than it is to just knock on the door and say, hey, can we have that deer?
And the most amazing thing about this whole story is that they had the right address.
Oh, boy. Well, that's good.
Because if you Google SWAT teams in the wrong house, you will get thousands. I exaggerate slightly.
We talked about the one that the guy's dog got shot.
Yeah, we're going to talk
the guy's
about
dog
the
that was tied up
police
that got shot. I mean,
power for the rest of the show.
Come on. It starts small, and it has. We saw Boston. That was huge. This stuff is happening more and more and more.
All the time.
It's time to wake up. When they come for your dog, you might want to tell them no, because that's just the start of it. It was a deer today. It will be your son tomorrow.
Yep.
It's not...
It's
this
not
stuff
funny. It's
pisses
not
me
cute,
off.
And it's getting
there's
serious.
No reason for it. It's uncalled for, and we need to do something to kind of quell the vast expansion of police power.
I've been saying it for several years now, and everybody said, oh, nothing about it. Now more and more and more people, I think, are realizing, hey, this isn't funny anymore.
Well, here's the deal. The thing is, you're taught, rightfully, to respect police officers, because the guy on the beat that's not on,
management,
raiding animal shelter, they're great. I respect what those people do. And it's hard to draw the line between, your officer that actually is there to do the right thing, and the guy that's going to rush in and shoot a dog in the wrong house, or go get a baby deer and put all these people at risk and shut down a business that's doing good work. There's a line there. It's a fine line, but there is a line there. And we have to be able to talk about it. We have to wake up. We have to not put every police officer in this country up on a pedestal because they're not all good. The majority of them are good, but they're not all good, and we have to be able to talk about that.
And the good cops need to really start coming forward with the bad cops.
Absolutely, and we've seen some lately that are getting in trouble for resisting quotas and coming out and talking about all these ridiculous anti-gun policies, and they're being attacked and fired and forced to quit. The chief in the Zimmerman case basically forced out of his job because he said, we don't just prosecute people because city manager, moron, you think it's the right thing to do. And, well, he's not employed there anymore.
Well, yeah, it's not an easy thing. The problem also is that so many police departments have all these toys, and they feel like they got to use them. They are, busting up poker games. I mean, it used to be drugs and dangerous drugs, and I understood that. But now, I was watching these shows that reality shows. It was like Cops, but it's for animal violations. You've seen that. I can't think of the name of the show.
Yeah, I can't think of it either, but I've seen it.
And they've had SWAT teams bust into people's houses because there was a complaint they weren't watering the dog right, or they weren't feeding the horses hay.
They just don't grow if you don't water them right.
Dogs don't?
No, you have to water them once a day, half sunlight, half shade. 12 hours sun, 12 hours shade.
I didn't know
water
that.
them. Miracle Grow will not work. You think it would?
I was wondering why my dog was looking a little brown.
Yeah, you have to.
It is a yellow lab, but I just wondered.
It's a brown dog.
Yeah. Oh boy.
You're getting a new puppy though, by the way. I saw that, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm excited. It's a cute one.
It's a cute little Labrador.
It is.
August 15th or so.
You're gonna love the energy and just the pure insanity of a puppy lab that you haven't had in a while.
I'm gonna be moving out of the house for about 2.5 years.
It's a lab. You're looking at 4 or 5 years,
and
buddy.
let my daughter and my wife take care of it. I'll be somewhere else. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? Arkansas. There was a school district there, like Ohio, that has a couple now. Arkansas said they're going to train a certain number of teachers to be like security guards and be armed. But that applause is premature.
Uh-oh.
Because apparently the Arkansas Attorney General says, you can't have guns in school property. And schools aren't allowed necessarily to provide private businesses to provide armed security. And that doesn't extend to Arkansas schools. So I think there's going to... Well, I hope they take it to court. I don't know if they will. They've spent a lot of money training these teachers, giving them money to buy guns and training.
Yeah, and our good friend Jan Morgan, she was a speaker at a rally here. She's been on the show before. Actually was hired to train some of the teachers.
That's
which
exactly right.
Which is a great thing.
Yep.
Do you think it'll go to trial? Are they going to push forward? Do you think they'll ever be prosecuted on something like this? I don't know if they will. I think this attorney general is an anti-gun idiot.
I think so,
and he's
too.
Bluffing.
Well, he did say that it's up to individual prosecutors in local jurisdictions to prosecute or bring charges to anyone who seems to violate this law.
Sure, and this was just an opinion. He was asked by a congressman, a Democrat in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So
Hank Wilkins, you dink, you.
Yep, I would suggest you call Representative Hank Wilkins
and express your displeasure.
Tell him he's a moron. Tell him I said so.
So I think they'll challenge it. And again, an opinion is just an opinion. It's not binding to anybody but the person who asks it and the attorney general.
A judge could look at it, and they probably will look at it.
It can be persuasive.
But it's not binding.
Right. It can be
now,
persuasive.
The thing is, this school, if I remember right, already has guns on campus. They have them locked up, and only certain administrators have access to these guns, which is a great first step.
I hadn't heard that.
It's not far enough. And it was interesting because they knew that the teachers couldn't just carry guns. They're getting them training to essentially become armed security guards, whatever that means based on state law.
Right. I will say that in Michigan, in our home state,
how you can think that's a bad thing.
Our law says that local school districts and school boards can determine if people can be allowed to carry on their school grounds. So there's some leeway there. Arkansas, I couldn't find that in the statute when I was researching this update. Apparently, there is no exemption to that. So
yeah, that's interesting.
I just wanted to throw that out real quick. It was a good thing, and now it's looking like a bad thing, but hopefully it'll be a good thing.
Yes, what he said, I think.
How do you like that?
I
you didn't like it.
I think more schools need to do this, and
like
the school districts, superintendents, you need to stand up and say, nope, this is what we're doing, because it's the right thing for the children. So take a hike, Mr. Attorney General. We'll fight it in court, whatever. If the Democrats and the public want to waste tax money having a fight over whether our teachers can carry a firearm in line with the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution, then we will have that fight because it's that important.
I hope so.
I don't think that'll happen much. School districts don't have money, and it's interesting. I don't know how.
And they claim that several parents took their kids out of school.
Yeah, I saw that. And you know what?
This.
I feel bad for the kids because they're going to be put somewhere else that's going to be less safe. And don't tell me it's not.
Friends aren't there, and they're going to lose friends and all that stuff. Oh, I know, it's sad. Hey, a judge said that a lawsuit can continue against SWAT officers who dragged a 10-year-old from his bathtub, made him stand naked next to his 4-year-old sister, and terrorized the family.
But that's just how they do things here
in Pittsburgh.
That's how they do things here. Yeah, that's at least what one of the SWAT officers said. It's just how we do it.
Well, I was going to get to that. 14 police officers.
Oh, okay. I'll wait for you to get to it.
Thank you. With helmets and face masks and assault rifles, stormed into this family, dragged this poor kid out of a bathtub naked, made him stand there for quite a long time because there was drugs there? No. The kids were held there against their will? No. There were terrorists? No. It was because apparently the dad got into a quarrel with a drunken off-duty police officer at a local veterans club earlier that morning. So they decided that they would storm this family's house to teach them a lesson because they said, Nate, that's how we do things here, and you should move out of Pittsburgh.
I would move.
Cops being bullies. I've never heard of that before.
I know you haven't.
I can't believe
because
that.
it's unique to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, yeah.
Oh, in Boston.
They've had a lot of problems in Pittsburgh.
And Indiana and Arkansas and Florida
and stuff. Yeah, all over.
Utah.
So,
not South Dakota, though, because the Border Patrol for the Canadian border in South Dakota.
It's right there in South Dakota and the Gulf of Mexico.
Yep, they keep tabs on things.
That's a flashback to another stupid comment by some federal representative that didn't know where South Dakota was. Imagine that. All right, so these cops got to stop doing this bullying stuff. We got to stop letting them get away with that. And so what? They'll get sued, and the insurance company will lose a lot of money, and it'll go on and on and on until we start holding officers personally accountable.
Individual officers, I know of officers that have lost their jobs because of color of law violations, essentially, where they terrorize people. If you stand up and enough people, and it's not just the accused, because once you're accused, you're essentially guilty. When people stand up, you can make a difference. And I'm not saying stand up physically and use violence against the officer. I'm saying stand up and say, no, talk to the police chief, talk to the city manager, talk to the mayor, talk to the city council, talk to the FBI. That's where you start anyway. Most people wouldn't even...
The problem is, most people don't have the resources or the knowledge.
It's not cheap if you're standing up alone,
and they get harassed by the power.
Yeah, and it's scary. I mean, when you have the department in your city that is there to serve and protect, when they're the ones that you're fighting against, I mean, who do you have on your side? That's the real problem that people have, and I completely understand that. I have a different angle because the day I was told by a police officer that they would not protect me was the day that really solidified the fact that I am not going to rely on them ever at all. They will come and make a report if I need them to, but they're not my first line of defense in any matter.
You and I have known that for a while. The Supreme Court has ruled that.
Yeah, yep.
But what
for sure.
people are finally realizing is that guy in New York that was stabbed 6 or 7 times trying to subdue that subway guy.
Yeah.
Where there were several police officers stand there that let that happen. And the courts, in that case, the guy tried to sue him. And they said, you can't sue us because police have no duty to help any individual at all. And I hear these liberals that go, oh, well, that's what the police are there for. The police will protect me. And I just want to grab them by their little scrawny necks and shake them awake and say...
they're all scrawny. Except Chris Christie. He's not scrawny at all.
He's not a scrawny liberal. And shake them awake and say, what world do you live in? They don't have to protect you. They have no obligation to. They have no legal obligation. They may have a moral obligation, but what is that going to get you when you're being stabbed in a subway 6 times?
Yeah, no kidding. Don't forget, Facebook.com/AdOutShow. Like us. Through midnight today, if you like us, you get a chance to win a copy of our book, My Parents Open Carry. Check it out, myparentsopencarry.com.
And we'll be back with Crimes Against Nature.
The voice of American conservatism. WRS Digital, Red State Talk Radio.
Fact. U.S. credit card debt is 8 times larger than it was 30 years ago. No wonder you and I are feeling the credit card crunch. You're not alone. Increasing prices and the costs of credit are stretching budgets and preventing people just like us from getting ahead or just catching up with our debts. At American Financial Debt Relief, we can help. We have tested ways to help you get out of debt. Find out how now. The call is free to learn more. If you qualify, we can reduce your interest, show you how to stop your debt from getting larger, and help you get out of debt faster than you can by making minimum payments. So if you're falling behind on your credit cards or medical bills, give us a call right now, where a free 5-minute call can change your life.
800-978-4815. 800-978-4815. Reduce your credit card debt. Call now. 800-978-4815. 800-978-4815.
Real radio for real Americans.
Red State Talk Radio.
Obama wants your money, and he's determined to get it. He wants your money to buy off unions, his Wall Street cronies, and to expand the Obama welfare nation. Well, Swiss America is determined to stop him from stealing your money. They want to send you an award-winning film, I Want Your Money, on DVD that exposes his plan. It'll help keep the government's hands off your money using gold, silver, and other hard asset strategies to protect your hard-earned money. Call today and request the DVD, I Want Your Money, normally $19.95, yours absolutely free. Let Swiss America show you how to use gold, silver, and other hard assets to protect your hard-earned money. Call now. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call Swiss America right now. Learn all about investing in gold. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call now.
Hey, Nathan?
Yes, Brian?
Do you know what a crime against nature is?
Yeah, it's when you chop down a tree.
No. Crime against nature is when dogs breed with cats. Or
and then what you get? You get cat dog.
You get cat dog.
That's
cat
right.
dog. Or
it should have been dog cat. That's upsetting because dogs are better than cats.
Yeah, because everybody knows dogs rules and cats drool.
That's right.
Crimes against nature. That's like when you clone something and you make a crocoduck.
I love the crocoduck.
Or a platypus. Now, no one's ever seen a platypus. They don't really exist.
No,
I mean,
but
come
crocoducks.
On. But crocoducks.
Crocoducks do for sure. Now, I don't think that's what you're talking about, Brian.
No, I'm not. Apparently in Baton Rouge, at least a dozen gay men have been arrested for agreeing to have sex with undercover officers.
Prostitution.
But not for money.
Not for money.
Because they have a law that's crimes against nature from 1889. And somebody in this town, in Baton Rouge, didn't like all these gay men, so they started arresting them. Unfortunately, the problem is that U.S. laws against sodomy have been invalid since 2003 when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled.
Is that unfortunate?
It is, in my opinion, yes.
Is it?
Yeah, because I think that doesn't include, that. All right, do you really want to talk about sodomy? Because I will all day long. Sodomy is any.
I know you will.
I've
been
act that isn't coitus.
I've been
coitus is penis and the mommy part and the daddy part going in together.
Uh-huh. No, I get
That's what natural sex is. Sodomy could be oral sex.
You didn't give me a chance to say no. I don't want you to talk about it.
I knew you'd say no, and I wanted to get in there.
I know you did.
So remember,
I noticed you only mentioned your. Yeah, no, go ahead.
You could be engaged in sodomy at some point and be arrested. Well, now you can't.
Well, no,
unless you're in Baton Rouge,
right? Which I visit often. I think I've met some of these undercover officers actually, so that's interesting.
And they're all gay. That's
what they said.
That's what's so sad.
I think it was entrapment.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! And you just thought they meant they were really, really happy. All right, so we'll see what happens. I suspect there'll be some lawsuits here. I hope there are because their law is unconstitutional, but they don't care because we're in Baton Rouge. Oh, look at the alligator! I love the big alligator down there and the crocoduck. I was in the bayou looking for the alligator, and the crocoduck came up and bit me in the butt.
It does that. But
you got to watch out for those crocoducks.
No, you do. And look, if you ever find a crocoduck at an animal shelter, be sure to call the local DNR.
Do not call the local DNR, or otherwise they will euthanize that crocoduck.
As they should. That's just policy.
Because
no. But how many times do you get a chance to watch a SWAT team raid an animal shelter? If you call on the crocoduck, you will see that.
I would say it's almost unique.
At least almost unique.
Sort of unique.
At least in Wisconsin, if you mess with the Wisconsin DNR.
My name is Jan Janssen. I work in Wisconsin.
What's her name? Niemeyer.
Shelley Winters.
That witch. What was her name?
I don't know.
Jennifer Niemeyer, the DNR
Niedermeyer
warden.
That's another.
She will have a SWAT team come after your butt.
I hope so. Just after my butt.
Man,
because
I don't like her. I've never even met her.
My butt is a crime against nature.
It sure is. We are running out of time, though. I want to remind you one last time before I remind you again. Like us on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Facebook.com.
What do they win?
/@OddShow. If they're selected, we're going to randomly select a name, not out of an actual hat, but a
My
virtual
cousin will
hat.
win. Oh. A virtual hat.
My cousin was going to win. We already talked about this.
My cousin's going to win.
We already talked about this.
My cousin.
Oh, boy. Neither of our cousins are in there. I'm sorry, cousin.
They can't win because they know us.
Friends and family.
A virtual hat.
Void in Rhode Island.
Oh,
and
boy.
I will tell you, if Jennifer Niemeyer...
In Wisconsin!
If Jennifer Niemeyer, the supervisor warden, wins, I am not sending her the book. She is disqualified from this contest. Like us, Facebook.com /@OddShow. Your chance to win. If you like us between now and midnight, you'll be entered twice to win. And we'll probably announce the winner, I'm guessing, on next week's show.
In Austin, cops chased and shot a man because he may have been up to something.
Now, I saw this, and that's kind of a funny spin to come on it.
I like
it. The police walked outside to talk to this man, and he ran.
Oh, I know.
Which is a little different than saying, he might have been up to something. He actually ran away from the officers, which, don't get me wrong, it should not be illegal to run.
Right. In certain states, I think you can run away from the cops. It's not considered
the governor of New Jersey, he could use a jog now and then.
I don't think he could run away from the police.
He couldn't.
He's like me. I just go, all right, put my hands behind my back before they even get there.
He is just like you, and he's also...
They have to use two cuffs,
nice,
two sets of cuffs.
Progressive.
My arms can't go back there because I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
I can. They could probably do... Well, they have. I mean, they probably could.
Sometimes it depends. In your experience,
let me ask my
wife.
wife.
I remember right, it depends on which time you're talking about. Sometimes they're nice with you, and they give you 2 pairs. Sometimes when you really piss them off, it's only one. So,
or worse, they use the zip ties. Oh, those are nasty.
Essentially, what you're saying is this man didn't really do anything wrong, but he ended up getting shot. Now,
a scuffle and shoot, and he was shot in the back of the neck.
Yeah, there was a struggle.
Now, I'm
Who
assuming...
knows what, it was under a bridge. Of course, there's no cameras there.
No, and it's a long ways away from anything, and what goes on underneath a bridge stays underneath a bridge. That's what I always was told by
Not all things.
Really?
Some things will come back with you.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. Then you're scratching and itching and scratching forever. All right.
There's pills and shots sometimes.
Oh, man, it's terrible. They're trying to determine what happened. Now, the back of the neck, I'm wondering if, he had him on a stomach. He was kneeling him in the back like they do. They had him at gunpoint. They put the gun up to their head in the back of their head. Don't move, don't move. I want to handcuff you. And there was,
That sounds like an execution. I don't know if you're really...
I'm trying to give him an out here. No, I mean, I don't know what
Who
the hell
knows
happened.
what happens?
Nothing. Yeah, come on.
Probably the guy was up to no good. That doesn't
guy's
mean he should have died.
unarmed, not suspected of any real crime. It was some suspicious activity, maybe, that's questionable. Still...
Trayvon Martin?
He may have been up to no good, so we're going to shoot him.
Yeah. So.
We know now. We know one thing for sure. He will not do no good now. Because he dead.
He will do.
He will not do no good now. Wait a minute. That's a double negative.
He won't do no good.
He won't.
All right, we're out of time for real now. So
dang it.
at oddshow.com.
All right.
See you next week.
All right, bye-bye.